What's going on, traders? Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to another live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Let me just make sure my mic is set up. I was making some adjustments this morning. We are good to roll. Make sure you view what's on the screen before we jump onto the charts. Trading is risky. Most traders lose money. If you trade, you're probably going to lose all of your money. Make sure you read the full disclaimer here. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say or do is financial advice or a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make your own trading decisions. Do your own research. This is all for entertainment purposes only. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures and code RDF. Now, let's go ahead and hop on to the charts. Get some analysis in. We are looking at the ES chart today. This is not the micro chart. This is the ES chart. I'm going to be talking about a little bit of some adjustments, some testing that I'm going to be doing coming into this fresh month of May that we have on this beautiful Monday, May 5th. But before we get there, let's get some regular, good old-fashioned analysis in, man. I'm checking Bookmap over on the side here. Just wanted to make sure I'm not getting ready to see anything too crazy. No, we're looking okay. Mic up. Looking okay on Bookmap, which we'll take a look at together in a moment. Coop, what's going on? Welcome, everybody. What's happening? Let me take a look here. All right, we got 350K Top 1 Futures accounts loaded up here. This is the Project X platform. We're going to be looking at ES. As I said, this is the ES chart, extremely similar to the MES chart, but going to be looking at trading one ES this morning. A little bit more zoomed in. Talked about it in Discord. If you're in the Discord, you probably got my message end of last week about this, but we'll yap about it in a minute. But first, let's take a look at the daily. Interesting play. So Thursday and Friday, I was in Tampa trading live, so I wasn't here trading live with you guys. Thursday, we cracked to the upside, came all the way back down. Friday, we had bullish news, and the market really did continue to rally after that news. There was a couple other knee-jerk reactions to some headlines, some comments that continued to drive the market higher. And you can see the nice big bullish candle we had coming out of this area of resistance, right? Maybe support flipped resistance that we hung out and pulled back from a handful of times. So very bullish. We're just maintaining this bullish structure, right? If you go through the lives the last couple weeks, I've just been trying to hit the buy button, right? Find a good spot to buy, and that's been paying pretty nicely. Shorts really have not paid me nicely at all, and you can see why. But right here, it looks like we, at least for now, are attempting to continue this bullish move coming off of these lows right here. Do we continue and really find some support here? And this is, in fact, a gnarly pullback, coming into the beginning of this year. And we're going to recover coming, towards the summer months here. Are we going to chop around here for a while, kind of consolidate in this area of high volume where we really found some, stayed here for quite a few days before we saw this really, really harsh sell-off? I don't know, right? I would assume that we don't just blast off and run bullish candle after bullish candle. And that's what we're doing right now, right? We opened up to the downside and we've continued to sell off. We had a little bit of a chop around VWAP there coming into the morning, but we'll drop down to the lower time frames and take a look at this. So far, within yesterday's range, right? Friday's daily candle range, really dead set in the middle. If this is our prior day low and our prior day high coming off of Friday, really sitting in between that, below VWAP here, selling off into the open. So somewhat bullish move coming into this week. So again, to the downside, I could see, consolidation around this area, right? Within this this choppiness back and forth to the upside, I could see some consolidation. We could start to chop here. We could certainly pull back, maybe sweep down below this area that we really didn't come back down below aggressively before we pushed off. So I could see a crack down, let's say below the 5600s. That would be a pretty decent sized move to the downside from here, down around yesterday's low. Conversely, like I've been looking at really every one of these days, we start to push off to the upside. I'm going to try to find a way in long. All of that said, I am trading much more zoomed in coming into today. I'm going to be on the 1 minute chart. I'm going to be looking to take trades off the 1 minute managed with much tighter stops to start, and then I will be aggressively managing risk to the upside. but you'll watch that play out live with me here. So just taking a look at the 15-minute chart, similar to what we're looking at coming off the daily. Very, very bullish structure. Anything that we do, any sell-offs that we've had, any moves to the downside have just been bought right back up. They've just acted as kind of sweeps to the downside before nice big pushes to the upside. Right here, right now, though, right, coming into today, because I want to look at the low time frame, kind of what are we looking at right here, right now? Selling off of the open, right, gap down right here. Continued all the way through Asia and London, coming into this morning. And we have now retested VWAP, and we're coming back down around the overnight lows of today so far. So we're opening up to the downside here after just a little bit of a attempt back up towards VWAP, rejection, and then continuation lower. So this is looking somewhat weak off the bat. And we're going to have to watch this one together with you guys. What's going on? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Getting started on this nice Monday. But coming up on the 15-minute opening range set, if you guys know me, if you've been here before, I don't like to jump right in. Whether I'm zooming in or zooming out, I'm still probably not going to want to jump directly in the first couple minutes of trading. I just think it's a volatile time to trade. It can be very indecisive, very, very wicky, and even here on ES. And I like to be a little bit cautious of doing that. So I am letting this bad boy open up, 9:42 a.m. Eastern. We'll see if we can't find our way into some trades here. Taking a look at Bookmap over on the side. Yeah, rejection of VWAP, kind of just chopping around down here, right? Nothing very directional. If I look, just over the last bit of trading here. To the downside, yes, somewhat weak, sitting below VWAP here, but we start to crack to the upside, above this level. I'm going to have to watch what happens. I think we could see a sweep up above here and then a rejection to the downside, and I might look at taking something really aggressively like that for the first trade. If we are going to continue lower, I think it's probably going to come off the open. We don't have a massive, this is just real zoomed out on the 1 minute. We don't have a massive level of support, although this is consolidation, right? So maybe we just needed to pull off down here, kind of hang out, retest this area as support. And now maybe we find some buyers and we start to turn this bearish daily candle that's forming into a bullish one. But first, I could see a sell. I could see a sell after a sweep of above this open. For a movement back down either towards VWAP, depending on how high we crack up, or to this area of high volume. So I'm tempted to look at something somewhat aggressively. And again, guys, I'm going to trade a little bit more zoomed in. Talked about this in Discord. I don't mind the 15-minute chart. I don't mind the higher time frame trading. What I found on Wednesday is I was felt like I was forcing my way into a trade, right? And off the 15-minute chart, maybe I'm only going to get 1 or 2 trades a day. And the odds of that happening while I'm here with you guys in the morning, right off the open for, an hour to 2 hours, it's just not as great, right? So for the purposes of first, just adjusting to the markets and adjusting my approach, because I'm always looking to improve and forward test different things. Same approach, right? Same mindset that I apply to all of this. But a little bit different. We got some wiggling here. There's a 945 candle opening up. Definitely wiggling on that one. But anyway, for the purposes of my own trading, but also for the live trading here, looking to zoom in a little bit more, right? That's the game plan. And as I zoom in, I think the biggest change you'll see is in trade management. I had a chance to get around some really awesome traders myself. As well as be a guest speaker in Tampa over the last weekend. It was awesome. Super, super awesome event. I'll talk more about that in a bit. But what I took away from everybody was all of the different styles of trading, the entries, the tools being used, the trade management, the risk management. Awesome to see so many different traders making it work. And it was really funny. On Thursday, I was trading live, but everybody else was trading as well. And almost everybody ended green. We all were trading with different tools, different trade management. So there's more than one way to do it, and everybody can end up making money. But something that I'm looking at taking away from that is if you are really zoomed in, really aggressively managing your trades, pulling stops into profit quickly, you know, on the 1 minute. And I've gone back through since I've been back, reviewed a lot of my stuff, really zoomed in, and I'm excited to test with some of this live here with you guys, right? In my accounts that I'm trading towards payouts, you know, same deal. Yeah, so far choppy. That was a little bit volatile. We had that 945 open, kind of wicked back and forth, but so far this is pretty choppy and directionless, right? My initial plays here, guys. Initial thoughts, just as we're watching this start to move. As I'm a little bit more zoomed in on the 1 minute today. Thought number one. We crack to the upside, sweep these highs, pull somewhere up here, retest the highs over here of this area above VWAP, and we get a move back to VWAP before we potentially continue in that direction or aggressively sell back off. Conversely, which it looks like we might go do down here, I would look to buy this for a pop back up. I don't know that I want to be trying to find the bottom initially, but I think if we come back down here, sweep overnight low, we hit prior week value area high. This is a key level, at least for me. I could see a rejection back up and a way to catch a little bit of a buy, at very least to test the bottom of this area of consolidation, what I would call some support, maybe flip resistance, or back up to the middle ground of this area of high volume. This would also be decent because it would be somewhat in line with that real high time frame trend, and my data showing just smashing the buy button has been working well. But that's what I'm looking at for somewhat of an aggressive trade off the open here. Kind of just looking for a sweep in either direction and then a move back to the area of high volume. Pretty basic. No real direction that would say you should be looking for breaking retests. No massive trend, you know, coming into this morning that says I really don't want to be hitting the buy or the sell button. I want to be looking in one way or the other. So for those reasons, that's what I see off the open here so far. It's sitting right under VWAP, really right in this area of high volume, kind of choppy. So we'll see. As far as Bookmap, yeah, down at 650, right down at here. We got a whole bunch of buy orders. Decent stack of orders on the book down here. That would support a potential reaction out of this area. Now, we come down through this level really aggressively. The opportunity could be to the downside. I may look for a buy down here, like I mentioned. But I do risk a stop out pretty aggressively. If we're going to crack this and start to fall to the downside, continuing some of this move down below VWAP, that could be pretty aggressive. If we swept this high and then came down, I'm not looking for it. I'm looking for a short back down into this area. If we sold off from here first without really coming up above this high, I would still look for the buy. But let's see. Okay, pushing back up on this. Let's see what we get. And again, guys, what you're going to see me do here, which is a little bit different than the 15 that I've been trading for the last few weeks, much more zoomed out, talking about no stop losses to break even, you know, letting the trades really play out for long periods of time, some of them all damn day. It's going to be different. I'm going to manage these much tighter, right? I'm going to start with a standard size stop loss, right? You know, much tighter than what I've been working with. And as the trade moves in my direction, I'm going to look to utilize some pretty aggressive trade management and trail a stop. Again, I always look to improve any way that I can, adapt to the market. And as I zoom in, although the approach is the same, the thought process is the same, the tools being used, you know, all that fun stuff. Some things like trade management, right, are going to be a little bit different. So in any event, man, appreciate you guys hopping on. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. You guys are awesome for being here. If you don't know me, again, my name's Zach. I'm here almost every damn day, trading live on YouTube, 9:30 a.m. I run a 100% free Discord where I'm yapping about trading, answering questions, talking about prop firms, all this fun stuff. We do giveaways on here. I got 2 this week, 2 accounts straight to funded with top 1 futures to be given away. 50K straight to funded accounts, random times, random days. And yeah, if you want to know more about me, you're in the right place, right? I'm here trading live with you guys, showing you what real trading looks like for me. I don't claim to be the best trader. I don't claim to know it all, to have all the answers. I don't have all the biggest payouts. I'm not on all the leaderboards. But I'm happy to show you what real trading looks like for me almost every damn day here on YouTube. What's up, chat? Let's go. What's going on? Good morning. Happy to be back trading. Happy to be back trading. Chat, what's up? You copy trade multiple firms. At this time, I'm not using Trade Syncer, which is the way that I would be able to do that. If you're interested, Trade Syncer is the answer to that question. But I'm not copy trading multiple firms together right here, right now. No. This is Top 1 Futures. I have 3 accounts that are copy traded here. I do copy trade individually at different firms. But Project X, we're not able to copy trade across multiple firms yet. All right, guys. So like I said, as this comes down here lower, I'm going to look for somewhat of an aggressive buy. This is probably what we'd be looking at here. This is what I'd be looking at for trade number 1. Something somewhat aggressive coming into these 55.50s. Into these 55.50s, maybe just down a little bit lower. For a reaction back up to the upside. Now, it would be counter to this initial move down below VWAP, which is somewhat of a risky play. But I think we find some buyers down here if we come and tap this level, especially before sweeping above this high. That's just my thought process. That's what I'm going to be looking at for trade number 1. We have about 172 on the book at 56.50. I'd be cautious about jumping directly in. Right at 56.50, I'd probably wait for a couple points down below, maybe just a little bit of a push through. But I would enter really aggressively, not waiting for candle closures and a bunch of momentum back up, which would result in somewhat of a good entry price, right? That's subjective. But what I would call a better entry price, entering aggressively on the way down, but not waiting for a whole lot of buying pressure, of a lot of reaction. The risk you run is to just, price just absolutely blast to the downside and you're caught buying as we're testing VWAP and coming lower off of a level. So that's that's both sides of the trade, the thought process there. I'm going to get that off my chart because you'll see the entry right here, right now. But that's what I'm looking at for trade number 1. Again, conversely, if we push off from here, test this high, I like the short even more because then I think, we're showing movement to the downside first. We are showing some trend like, hey, we want to come down and check out this 56.50, maybe down below. We sweep up here. I really like to sell. And again, I would look to enter more aggressively, much more zoomed in, tighter stop loss, not waiting for a whole lot of confirmation. And then managing the trade really aggressively if it gives me a chance to, right? If you get your stop loss run, you just blast through, there's no trade management. Your risk was on, and that's it. But let's see what we get, man. Let's see what we get. Yeah, man, this is pretty choppy so far. not really giving us anything too crazy. I mean, staying below VWAP, this could be a dicey play. I'm gonna take it. That's my thought. I have an if-then statement, right? I'm gonna take it down here for a reaction to the upside, right? I think we're likely to, if we come lower, looking at the 15, this coincides with these levels down here. Potentially hit this area of high volume, reject to the upside, come back here. Even if we are going to continue lower, I think we see that first. If we sweep these highs again, I'm looking short on this. Same thought process. I think we come back down to this area of high volume that we chopped at for so dang long. But so far, not anything too crazy off this open. Oh, boy. Good stuff. Good morning. Long time no see. What's going on? What's going on? How are you liking top 1? I like top 1. I am bullish on top 1. It's worth noting. I'm an affiliate. I'm partnered. I stand to make money. I think it's important to note that. Very important to note that. Be transparent about that. I can't be unbiased, right? If I'm paid or I stand to make money from something. But I really enjoy top 1. Extremely bullish on them. Love the platform. Like the rule set. Working my way towards a payout. Haven't snagged one yet, but hoping to get there pretty damn soon. I did just snag a payout from Top Step, which I'm still trading last week. Got to post that. Didn't even talk about it. All right, watching this test VWAP. Give me a second, guys. I'll chat with you. Watching this test VWAP again, like I talked about, would look for a sell back down into this area of high volume. That would really coincide with this initial movement to the downside, which I do like. Again, going to be somewhat aggressive. So, you know, if I have to take the quick stop today, I will. But I'm going to look for it somewhere up here, you know, around the 75s. That's kind of what I would be eyeballing here. Why? Coming out of this area that was tested multiple times as resistance, nice round number. I think that would provide a decent entry. So that's what I'm going to go for. And again, pulling some of the trade management style from one of the great traders that I had a chance to work with this past weekend and got to hang out, test over the weekend after I got back. Really aggressively trailing on the 1 minute. If you're going to enter very aggressively and not have your stop run, gives you a chance to lock up profit. So I'm interested to test this. I'm really going to be considering May. A lot of a forward test. For me. Yeah, again, watching this. I know I'm kind of drifting here. Watching this to the upside, guys. Again, looking short, aggressively short as we start to crack above session highs here. Looking for a sell up around the 75s. Around the 75s. Now, what would negate this if we just really cracked this high right now, pulled all the way back down in, started to sell off really aggressively, or pulled back in and then cracked to the upside. That would quickly just negate this. That would say, hey, all we're going to do is sweep here. You're looking for 75s. We're not going to give you that. We're just going to crack this high and then come right back in. That would be the short play setting up right here. I think we can crack quite a bit higher if we're going to push this high a little bit. Take out anybody that got short down here, right above this level, this 934, this session high, 15-minute opening range high, which we broke to the downside and now the upside. So this is turning into somewhat of a choppy reverting day, right? If you were looking short on this to the downside after testing VWAP multiple times, this would be a painful one. So, yeah, we might come right back down on this. Yeah, and as I'm talking about getting more trades on, I mean, even on the 1 minute, like looking to aggressively trade, if there's nothing that sets up and it's just hot garbage chop, where anything that I would look to take would be an L, I'm not gonna have a problem sitting patient with you guys. Like, you know, I can get as zoomed in as I want. If there's not a setup for me specifically, and especially if we just end up with a lot of just nothing, I'm okay sitting patient. But right now I'm looking for the 75s for a short. If we cracked above, I would have liked to see it happen quickly before we started this movement. Ooh. Oh, we got news. Oh, I almost got smoked on this. Hang on, guys. We got 10 a.m. red folder news. ISM manufacturing. ISM services PMI. Sorry about not making you aware. I'm sure someone said it in the chat. Ryan? I didn't even say it. What's going on, man? Yeah, no, we got red folder news. Really wasn't paying attention. I actually have it up on both screens. Just wasn't yapping about it. Posted in the Discord, but that's me really just not paying attention, even to the bottom of the screen where it is, where we have the little piece that shows us that we do have news on the chart. So ISM services PMI, 10 a.m., red folder. Obviously, we got a bullish reaction out of that. That could have been pretty ugly if I really wasn't paying attention on it. But it's going to sit patient, not going to jump directly in. We have the level being traded. That's 75s that I was looking for. I don't want to jump in on a news candle. Not my play whatsoever. I'll take that news money. Nice. Kind of forgot about it for a second, too. Yeah. Lucky that I wasn't looking for something too quick right before then. We were hitting a level. So 10 a.m. red folder news. Not gonna jump into anything crazy. Gonna give this, let's say, at least a minute or two. I could see a reaction from here really aggressively, but I don't want to step directly in front of a big bullish news candle. Not my play. So cracking to the upside. Let's see if we don't get any reversion out of this, and we really go and start to form a bullish movement off of these lows. That could be thought number 2 here. Yeah, we got the 5700s coming up pretty quick. Another big round psychological number. We got 200 on the book up there. I could absolutely see that. 5650 below price back down at this, at these lows, has even more on the book now. 155 back on the book. So this is interesting. This is interesting here, guys. I think I'm going to watch my trade play out here just during news, which I don't want to trade. Again, so I was looking for the 75s, around the 75s for a short. We did blast through that pretty quickly on news, but I could see this still coming back in. I just don't know if I want to step in front of this one. It would be a really aggressive stop out if we just continued to push towards the 5700s rather than pulling back. But I see this pulling back to VWAP first. Again, I've just been reading this as kind of a choppy morning so far. Watching book map. I'm tempted on this short, guys, back down towards VWAP, but this could certainly just continue to push directly off where we came from. Just gonna give this a second. 5700 is just not too far off from this level. I got a feeling I'm going to watch this play out. Here it is. News, man. This is a frustrating one. News. I just really don't like to get involved right before, which I really wasn't paying attention to, or directly after news. It's just oftentimes so volatile. It can be really difficult to work with and anticipate what that volatility is going to look like over the next couple candles. But here we are, coming right back down in. This would have been paying nicely already. 5700s would have been really aggressive, but I would have survived it with my stop loss. Even getting short up here would have looked pretty clean on the first start of a rejection. Just too quick, 1 minute into the news, news candle. Too quick, too aggressive, but that would have been paying. So I'm gonna have to watch how this sets up, because this was idea number 1. Now we swept highs, pulled all the way back in. Do we find support and continue higher? Or do we come back down through these lows? It also really negates my initial buy. Yeah, damn, man, this is going to play out nicely. Really negates my initial buy, like I said earlier. If we sweep the highs, then come all the way back down, I don't know that we see the rejection back up, because we already came back above highs. So this is going to be interesting structure to work off of with a 10 a.m. red folder news. Stuck sitting patient with you guys again. Fun stuff. Very fun stuff. I'll chat with you guys in a second. I see a handful of comments in there. Yep. Test the VWAP right down to this area of high volume again. So bullish pop on news, immediate rejection back in. This one's a pain in the ass to watch because this was the trade that I was looking at. Obviously not something that I'm going to take right during red folder news, especially being zoomed in on the 1 minute and running a tighter stop. It also makes it difficult to look for a buy out of this zone, which was an initial play if we came down lower before sweeping above this high. So this is a long way of me saying I'm sitting patient. I don't have an initial trade. I think we're coming lower. I don't know that we stop here and we push back up. I think we're coming through this aggressively. Just that's the feel of this market. It looks like we want to move to the downside. I think it's going to be a move back towards 56.50. No way to structure risk. Nothing clean on this at all. Quick choppy movement on the news, and this is going to be some difficult to work with structure, right? You know, here's our open 9:30, choppy back and forth before VWAP. News event for the actual movement. Do we come all the way back down through these lows? And we had the 15-minute opening range set here. This would be the high and the low. Broke to the downside, broke to the upside. Then do we come back down and break to the downside again? This could be a pretty difficult day to work with. So I guess I can be grateful that I'm staying patient and not just taking unnecessary losses, but I'm watching this first one play to the downside, which I liked. Anyway, let's see what we get. 5,700s again up above. That would be the level that I'm watching. 189 orders on the book to the downside. 5,600. Excuse me, 56.50, right down around that prior week value area high. That's a key level that I'm watching. I know you guys are chatting. I'll answer a couple things, but I'm looking to get a dang trade on, man. Yeah, I mean, this is clean back and forth type movement as far as sweeping highs and then testing this area of high volume. We got, you know, really an immediate rejection back up to the upside. Are we going to pick a direction today, or are we going to come right back down into this? That's my question. I'm actually still looking at this short, guys. I'm actually still looking at this short. If we crack above this high and we start to take off, that would be moving quickly in the opposite direction towards that 5,700. We got a lot of orders down here. Oof, man. Yeah, it's just quick moving here. Quick movement, not giving me a lot of time. I'm eyeballing this short back down towards VWAP and through the bottom of this low. It looks extremely choppy. 10 points to get above this high. Getting short on this, guys. I'm going to get short on this with a stop loss just above this high. I'm going to look to aggressively manage this if we come back down into this area. You're going to watch me trail a stop very, very quickly into profit. If we come back down towards this area of high volume, I'm going to trail really quickly in. Conversely, if we just take off to the upside, I'm dead wrong on this. But I'm looking at a lot of liquidity building down here around these levels that were not tested. This might be all we have to do before we push off to the upside, in which case I'm going to be out for 550. But I'm short one mini, 56.71 and a half. Looking at a continuation of the downside to go grab some liquidity and head back down towards a key level down there. Somewhat aggressive, right? We are breaking and retesting around VWAP. Again, lot on the book down below price, 56.70s. As I mentioned, if we start to come lower, maybe we are just going to test this area again before we crack to the upside. I would look to quickly drag this stop loss down into profit. Otherwise, I'm going to get taken out, and I think this thing is moving to the upside. That would be really the only short that I would want to try here. If we do break this high and continue to the upside, I'm looking long on this. I'll be looking long for a second trade back up towards prior day value area high, the 5,700s. I think that's where we're going to climb to. But I'm just watching these levels down here not be tested. And I think this is probably the only other opportunity I'm going to get a stop loss above session high for a short back down towards these levels. So we'll watch this one play out. Again, not a whole lot of risk. You've watched me take trades on here, talk about different different levels of risk that I'll put on, upwards of $1,000. So, it's somewhat aggressive, right? Kind of down in here in this choppy area. Can take the quick wick out if we have to wick above this level first again before we move lower. But that's the play for the first trade. Not rejecting, pushing right back off. Looks like we might be in for a quick stop. Either way with these trades that I am taking with tighter stops, tighter target, larger size, they're going to play out quicker, right? So I'm going to get trades on with you guys. Going to be able to manage them aggressively with you. And that's part of zooming in, right? I want these trades to play out quicker. I want to be in and out of trades with you for wins, for losses, and just not have as many no trade sessions or a lot of what I had last week, which was I put a trade on and then we hang out for like an hour and the trade's still running and then I got to leave before anything ends, right? So that's kind of the some of the thought process here. But yeah, Bookmap's looking a little dicey at the moment. We have a lot of movement back and forth. Orders above and below price, so there's quite a bit of transacting being done right now. This is decent volume. You can even see it down here, right around this level. So this could be a spot where we do push off. But again, I'm gonna look to exercise some caution down here. Again, we come down into this area. I'm gonna quickly trail below price. That's gonna be my thought process here. Again, guys, just kind of zoomed in on this, focused up, because if we start to crack lower, as I mentioned, we're going to trail below this. I think we could quickly move to the downside, and if we do, I want to make sure I'm managing risk. Conversely, if we just crack to the upside and sweep this high, I'm out for the full stop. Not going to manage it to the upside. That's even when I'm trading really zoomed out, it's really just not my trade management style. I don't find that working really well, and not really what I'm looking to do. Want to see it move my direction, and as it starts to really aggressively, trail behind it. So let's see. Sellers trying to take it lower. Got to come back through VWAP. Decision-making time. Do we break this structure and start to come lower on this, or do we blast off from here to the upside and it looks like a really clean buy from this area? Either way. Could go either way pretty quickly on this one. But appreciate you guys being on here with me, hanging out. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an idiot on YouTube. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. This is all for entertainment purposes only. Check out Top 1 Futures, code RDF. If you want the best deal, 55% off, plus the anytime payouts option added on, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, man, that was its chance. Multiple times we had an opportunity to break to the downside. This looks like it could be ugly. We are really not being able to blast through VWAP. We didn't even come down and check this area out. We're chopping here a lot. Buyers, as they're stepping in, look pretty aggressive. Again, I'm going to let this trade play out. I'm going to trust my stop initially. I'm going to aggressively manage into profit if we move. But This is not rejecting really harshly to the downside the way that I would like to see off the bat. I think even if we are going to move higher, I'd be surprised if we didn't test this temporary volume point of control, this area 5 volume, based on how I use visible range volume profile over here to the right-hand side. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. All right, not get distracted. I got 47 messages popping up. Yeah, we don't want to crack to the downside. We don't want to do it. Choppy, and looks like we want to hold this bullish momentum and continue up. That looks like what we might be in for today. Watch a book map over to the side. Yeah, now we got the slow climb to the upside. Buyers continuing to drive this thing higher. Again, we stay below that high. We don't crack above and have to sweep it again. It's not that bad. I am running a tight stop there where we could just need to go and crack towards the 85s before coming back lower. But that trade idea was that we're going to continue here after breaking, retesting, and come back down and trade back across this level. Doesn't look like it's going to pay me today. Doesn't look like it's going to pay me today. But going to trust the stop, leave it on until we take it. And for me, plenty of time for a follow-up trade or two. I don't know that I would trust this long. Just the rejection from here could be the slow grind to the upside, up towards this 5,700 level. I think that's what we could see. No test of these 5650s doesn't give me a lot of confidence on the higher time frame perspective. But we would be holding some bullish structure. I don't know that I would trust that one. I still would be looking short on this, which could be a problem. Could be me holding just an unhealthy bias that we are chopping. But again, I really like to see a sweep of highs or lows. And then continuation, and we didn't get that to the downside first. We came down, just put our overnight low in here, tested our overnight low, and reacted to the upside. Bullish news. This was somewhat clean after a retest here and then a push to the upside. So maybe that's all we're gonna get, and we continue higher. But I don't know that I'd be jumping right back in for a long. Don't know that I would be taking it long really, really aggressively. Let's see. We'll have to wait and watch this one play out. Again, if we start to come down around the entry, I'm going to get more locked in, just not answering so many questions or talking too much because I'm looking to manage, right? I'm looking to drag stop loss and got to be focused up to do that the way that I'm looking to do it pretty aggressively on the 1 minute time frame. Let's see though, as we watch this come back down. Okay, we forgot about news for a second. Honestly, about the 20% consistency. Yeah, the 20% consistency rule. So with top 1 futures, you have a 20% consistency rule. And I got to make a video. I think that's what I'm going to do today, guys. I'm going to make a 20% consistency rule video explaining what that is, how it works, what you have to do to work on it, right? So by the end of this week, because I send my stuff off to get edited, I will have a video, right? You can quote me on that. Talking about the consistency rule. Probably won't be too long because I find it pretty simple, despite, many people needing to ask a lot of questions about it. But it's fairly straightforward, right? So the rule says, and this is similar across other firms, right? So the rule says your total, no single day's profit, right? When you close out a day, can be larger than 20% of the total profit in your account when you go to request a payout. So what does that mean? Let's think about that again. No single day's profit can be larger than 20% of the total profit in your account when you go to request a payout. That means if you do the simple math and you decide what you want to get to profit-wise before you take a payout, you would be able to divide that by 5, 20%, and make sure you don't go over that number on any one single day. Another way to think about it is, whatever your largest day of profit is, you are going to have to do that times 5 before you're eligible to take a payout. Essentially, the rule makes it so you can't just YOLO the account. You can't have one huge day. You have to have some consistency within your trading. And that's why they do it, especially on the instant funded stuff, right? You typically don't find those in eval accounts. Just give me a second, guys, as we're back down around entry here. We're either going to blast off and crack this high, or we're going to come back down quickly. Sellers continue to try it, but we're forming this nice trend line to the upside here. Not a trend line guy, but just looking at these higher lows getting put in. Failed to get above this high. Decision-making time. Blast down lower. I'm managing this tightly, or we crack to the upside and I'm out for 550. But I am going to get ready to manage this one. So, here's what I recommend with guys, for guys, right, on these top 1 futures accounts. Decide on the front end when you want to take a payout, right? What do you need to do to take a payout in the account first? And then how much profit do you want to have in the account before you take a payout? Let's use an example. $7,500 now with the new rule set is the minimum amount of money, the profit target you have to hit before you request a payout. What's the simple math? Can anyone in the chat tell me what's 20% of $7,500? To be able to meet that consistency rule and take a payout as soon as you hit $7,500. This should be simple. That's the number. I'm going to wait for someone to answer. But that's the number that you can't go above. Divide by 5. There we go. That's the number that you can't go above on any one day. Right? No, not 2,500. 1,500. 20% of it was close. Thank you for answering, though. 20% of 7,500 is 1,500. You cannot finish above $1,500 profit on any one day, okay? If you wanted to try to take a payout on the earlier rules and you wanted to get to, for example, $3,000 and then take out $3,000, you couldn't put up more than $600, okay? Doesn't matter what happens throughout the day, and it doesn't matter what happens throughout the time that you're trading as far as losing days and it only is looking at winning days, right? Winning days. No single day of profit can be larger than 20% of that total profit when you go to take the payout. So it's fairly simple when you think about it in those terms, or it should be at least, in my opinion. But I'll make a video on it and I'll talk about it. I'll do some different examples. Damn, man, we're not going to crack this low. This trade is just going to play with me. Yeah, I don't think we're going to crack this low. Sellers tried it so many damn times. Volume dying off to the downside. Again, I'm going to trust my stop where it is. Look to manage this thing if we start to move back down into profit. This is a level I'm very weary of just because we reacted so many times here. Again, I'm going to drag stop loss right into profit if we start to move lower and aggressively trail behind it, because I would want to see it continue really aggressively to the downside, but I think we're going to have to crack this high again before we potentially do it. Not going to adjust stop, not going to widen out. You guys watch the way that I trade. I don't do that. I think it's a death sentence if you start to do that. I'd rather take a stop and look to get back in a different area. Yeah, still have liquidity at 5650. Not as much. Liquidity at 5700 actually started to get pulled. We had some that came on at 705 that came back off. So I'm playing this in the choppy way that it is. Not a great entry. Could have been way more aggressive up here on this move or up here on this move. Wider stop to allow a retest of this and also just to be able to grab profit on the way back down. So um, I don't mind this one, but my review of my trade is going to be more aggressive on the entry. Would put my entry way up here as I was talking about, and wider stop. You run the risk of getting clipped, but I waited for some reaction to the downside, which didn't continue here. Survived the first push up, put a lower high in, which I like, and tried it here. But every time we come back down around VWAP, we're finding buyers. So I think we're cracking these highs. But again, what I think to the upside, right? It's different every day. You got to apply some consistency. If every time I shake myself out of a trade, a couple of points in drawdown, I'm going to watch a lot of them rip in my direction. But we'll see if we have to take the stop. So again, consistency. Let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. Yeah, okay, so the person that's asking the questions, do me a favor. Go to this frequently asked questions page. Hang on one second. This is the frequently asked questions page. Now I'm really getting distracted. This is the frequently asked questions page in Top 1 Futures, right? This is not my affiliate link. This is the frequently asked questions page in we come back down? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to answer questions, but this trade is just dancing around on me, and I don't want to be on a completely different page on a different screen when this thing starts to move, and potentially. All right, can we do it this time, sellers? I'm going to come back to the consistency rule thing, but I keep getting distracted. Just give me a moment here, guys. Are we going to come back down through and go and hit the 56.65s? That's what I'm looking for out of this, potentially a lower move. I'm going to trail aggressively. If we find buyers here again, I'm going to be shocked if I don't get stopped on it. We're continuing to put lower highs into this level that we cannot move below, which is my entry, which is working at as an insane support zone here. Again, I think we could, just based on the way this is moving, I'm really going to aggressively manage it if we come back down through. But I think we may have to sweep this high and then see a larger movement. Oh my gosh, man. Buyers again, right off my entry. Yeah, this is just a trash one. Part of it, man. Part of it. I'm not gonna start on consistency again until I watch this one play out. But this one's gonna be funny. I got a good feeling I'm gonna take the stop. We're gonna see a wick towards the 85s, 86s, and then an aggressive sell-off. I don't move stops after I structure risk. I definitely don't move stops in drawdown. I would have to look for another entry. I'm not going to be able to enter aggressively at the exact same the level where my stop loss is, which is what I would actually like to do. But I'm have to stick to some consistency. But I think we're going to come up through that and then aggressively sell back off. Sellers look like they want to take this thing lower. Buyers are fighting it. Oftentimes we see out of consolidation. You guys are aware, right? We consolidate for a while. We sweep one side of consolidation. That's enough juice to take us through the other side, right? We typically don't just consolidate, break in one direction, and then just continue to move. So now we've got this, 1 minute area of consolidation, a sweep above the highs before a move lower, would be fairly clean. My initial trade thesis just didn't pay, which was a continuation of the downside. Unless we can break it and start to move. But I will come back to the consistency rule. And I will make a video on it for you guys. We'll do a whole nice fun video on consistency. Choppy consolidation, man. But appreciate you guys being on, hanging out. I'm going to try to watch this one play, or going to wait for this one to play. 10:30, 10:32. We got initial balance set. You know, we start to break to the upside. I'm still looking at this for a movement back down towards the 650s, but I don't know that we see it today. Again, if you hopped on late, talked about aggressively managing this in profit if we start to move. Concerned about this area of volume that really started to build here. We move to the stop. I'm stopped for the full stop. We move into profit. I'm going to drag into profit. Much more aggressive trade management style, but I picked a beautiful support zone with my entry, and I'm still looking at this short, at least back down to this area. But as I just discussed, oftentimes what happens as we start to consolidate, we sweep in the opposite direction first before moving in the actual direction that we're looking to move in. And I think I could be in for that, which would be frustrating. But I could tell already my review on this, my journal entry is going to be more aggressive on the entry for a better price. Would put my stop farther away to survive a sweep of highs potentially. If I'm dead wrong, I'm dead wrong. You know, nothing's going to help that. But it would allow me to manage the trade quicker. There we go. Now here's the thought process, guys. If we can start to break through VWAP, which I'm going to wait for, I'm going to look to aggressively drag this bad boy into profit. For now, I'm going to let go of it. Test a VWAP. Can we start to come back down through? Again, this is the area that I'm cautious of. I think we could find a lot of buyers out of this area. We could not break structure to the downside. So I am cautious of that, but not blasting off higher just yet. Back down into profit. Let's see. Back down at VWAP. So this is a dicey spot. And I'm holding through VWAP on this one, which is a tough call. Just getting a little bit of measurement going. Taking a look at how many points to the downside this would be for a sweep down below this low. There we go. Now let's see if we can start to push off from here. I'm going to look to trail behind this. If we start to push, this is just not enough. I need to leave it so we can start to, chop around right around VWAP and then start to push through. Yeah, not happening. Still not finding sellers on this. Yes, this one is just a choppy mess, man. choppy mess of a day here. Chopping around VWAP, back and forth, held through drawdown. I'm looking to hold to a winner here, but I just don't know how this is going to play. Liquidity still down at the 650s. Obviously finding buyers right here at VWAP. Didn't come down and hit the 65s, at least this key level. I mean, I really like this. If we were going to move to the upside, I could see a tap of this area and then, or even down below the 64s, and then some aggressive buyers stepping in, but we're finding it right off of VWAP. So it just might be the blast off from here.
For the ones who get it done, the most important.
But we're going to have to see. And maybe I'll have to take the stop on this one. Then we can talk consistency. Talked about these trades playing out quickly. This one did not play out quickly. This one really did not play out quickly. It looked like it was going to for a stop all the way back down into profit, only by a couple points. Again, not enough to trail or grab on 3.5 points of profit. With a 10.5, I got 10 point, 11 point stop loss. Yeah, this doesn't look good. Buyer stepping in right at VWAP, not giving me an area to trail, at least to the downside. Again, was looking at this coming through, but now this definitely looks like a push to the upside. Multiple times, sellers taking this thing lower. Buyers had a chance to take it higher here, to take it higher here, to take it higher here again as we rejected the upside. So it's been a lot of failures of buyers, which as we started to come lower, this actually looked really good to the downside. Lower highs getting put in, starting to break down to the downside. Could have been a very, very quick movement on another day. I don't mind that one, but not today. Not today yet. Looks like we want to push off VWAP and maybe head towards the 5700s. Again, trusted the stop all this time. I would have been frustrated if I closed it here or here or here when we came all the way back down into profit. But this one looks like the push. There we go. Stopped for 515.30 across 3. Not continuing lower. Finding buyers at VWAP after a whole bunch of choppy consolidating BS. I still think I could be in for what I'm thinking, honestly, gun to my head, sweep above this high and then coming back down. Like I talked about, not moving stop loss after getting involved with a trade, especially not widening out in drawdown. Looking for a second entry. Getting stopped and then jumping right back in is not my play in the exact same direction. I think at that point you would just want to move your invalidation point. So I'm going to have to wait to see how this one starts to play out. But now I can talk consistency with you guys without being distracted. I'm going to have to watch to see how this one plays. We come back down through the lows. It's my trade playing out, just not structuring risk the best way, not having an entry up here a little bit higher that would allow me to have a stop like up at the 87s, 88s for a continuation lower. But gun to my head, that's what I think. I think we watch this come right back down. Just couldn't do it without sweeping these highs again. So, or conversely, I'm dead wrong. We take off from here, buyer stepping in, and we just see this to the upside. But I'm not going to jump right back in on it. So again, read that page. And if that's confusing, I will have a video. But I gotta say it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward. This is simple math, right? Very, very simple math that we have to do on these accounts. Nothing crazy. So think about this stuff, like reflect on it, and then maybe watch the video that I'm going to drop later this week. But really, it's not that difficult to understand, right? Some people don't like it because they believe it's difficult to trade with. I respect that. But it should be pretty straightforward. If you have questions, if none of it is making sense, feel free to ask. But, I'm going to direct you to the simplest stuff that I possibly can. Let's see. Let me check my news notes to see if it came true. How was the weekend outside of... Yeah, weekend was awesome. Weekend was awesome, man. So, again, I went to the ASFX in-person Tampa event. It was called 2-Day Futures Boot Camp. And essentially what it was is it's Austin Silver's deal. And he invited a bunch of guest speakers. I'm grateful to be one of those guest speakers. But a handful of awesome traders, really, really solid traders. And there was about 50 people. It was 2 days in Tampa, really sick hotel. But it was so cool to get to have so many different perspectives, not just of the guys talking, but of the people in the room. Everybody who had just been trading for a couple years, all the way up to veteran traders, guys that were trading large size and live accounts, right? And to just watch the different trading styles, the different key things that they felt helped them in their journey. Mindset and psychology being such a big focus. But the different risk management styles, the trade management styles, was really, really just super helpful. Along with all that, just to be surrounded by traders who are driven and on the same path as you for a number of days where usually we are not at all was super cool, right? Like I'd turn the corner in the hotel and someone would be talking about, breakouts, or somebody's talking about, top one versus whatever. It's just funny to hear those conversations because you just don't ever hear them. But it was awesome. It was awesome. I'm gonna have a ton of content. I'm gonna have my whole presentation for you guys, all that fun stuff. So you guys can catch some of that. But man, not even just because I was involved with it. Of course, I'm biased. I used to do these for trade shows for my past career. Getting in person and getting in front of people and networking and speaking to everybody, and just talking to your fellow traders, dozens of them, is more beneficial than any way you could spend time. I think, for a couple days, right? Because it's a very rare occasion, doesn't happen often. I think it's insane. I cannot wait for the next one. I'm actively seeking out other in-person events that, I would just pay to go to be a part of, to talk to other traders, to get different perspective. I think it's just powerful. Super powerful. Along with that, you leave with a bunch of, new trader friends, right? Like, not to be lame about it, but you leave with guys that are, talking about trading live together, talking about holding each other accountable, different people in your area, in real life, right? Wherever you live. So it's really cool. It's really cool, man. I can't wait for the next one. No idea when they're going to do it. There's no talk of another one right now. I'm sure there'll be something, but it was sick. Really cool. Really cool. But yeah, man, that was awesome. I'm gonna yap. I didn't even push it your yap about it too much, just because I was posting it and kind of talking about it. But I hadn't done one of these like this. But man, now that I have, I will absolutely be speaking on it and recommending it heavily to everybody. $1,000 a week, $200 a day is 20%. Yes. Ryan says up or down. Joey says orb. Got you. We were talking about the consistency rule, dividing by 5. 5 days each. Yep, we talked about that. SU001, no problem. Thank you for your patience. So, and then you ask, what's the payout rules of top one? So here's what I would recommend, right? Rather than me just read off the website, and I mean this in a kind way, go ahead and go to that site. Go to the link that I posted in there. Either one. I'll post the main site again, which is my affiliate link. I will go ahead and send this to you. Go to the top of the page and click on frequently asked questions and read the rules, right? That's how you know what the payout rules are. Read all of the rules. You can also watch a bunch of videos on my site. I have tons of them, but this is simple stuff. Before you consider any of it or even are asking any of these general questions, you have to read through all of them. And I honestly, I find that so many traders don't, and they don't stand a chance at getting a payout. If you don't understand all of the basic stuff and then all of the detailed stuff, then you're really not giving yourself a shot at all. So read through in detail, every single piece of that frequently asked questions page, as well as all the general stuff. NASDAQ did not break highs yet. Ooh, yeah, I think we're coming back down. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I was just looking at this as choppy. Now with that buy off of that bounce off of VWAP, I could see this moving higher, 5700s. This looked like to me we were going to see a sweep of the high and then come back down. Again, too much liquidity down here, too close to this damn value area high from last week. This area of consolidation. I was looking at this level, to be tested. Again, just more zoomed out on the higher time frame. And we didn't get that. I could still see us coming back down and just it being a choppy day. I don't know that I'm sold on this, just probably because of so much chop before this 10:45 a.m. time frame. Before we started to crack, NASDAQ not cracking could be an indication that we're coming back down. But I'm not going to jump into anything right now, right off the bat. I just don't have a setup. That was my initial sell off of these tests. Again, my note for that trade is, and a little bit better entry would give me better trade management on it. Maybe I get stopped for a couple $100 in profit rather than the stop loss. Would just be more aggressive. This was close to the news, too damn close to the news. But up here on initial rejection would have been really nice. That would have paid. Up here rather than all the way back down to this level would have definitely been helpful. Definitely would have given me a way to structure risk and manage the trade a little bit better. Wider stop where maybe I'm still in, but this is looking like it wants to continue the upside right here. But we'll go from there. Part of it, you're just going to take L's, right? Not going to have at least me, not going to have an amazingly high win rate. There's going to be full stops. Are we in? No. You would know if I'm in because I am trading directly from my platform right here, right? You watch stops, executions, targets, everything sits directly on the chart. So you will see it. Ryan, peace out, man. Yeah, I'm going to hang with you guys. And again, if you're looking at top 1 futures, which we've been talking about, the consistency rule, boom, I'll plug it for you guys. Remember, I'm affiliated. I'm partnered. I can't be unbiased if I stand to make money. Launch special for code RDF, specifically for my code, not for code payout or launch or all the general stuff. Some of the other guys' codes have some solid juice as well, but code RDF gets you 55% off, under $400 for the 150K account, straight to funded, and anytime payouts, no 14-day window. You guys want to check that out. Link is in the chat, code RDF. Greatly appreciate anybody that supports me, supports the channel, supports what I do. But yeah, read the rules. Make your own decision. Make sure everything makes sense to you. All of that is extremely important. Really, really, really important. Along with that, you guys are on here. Oh, I don't even have the giveaway deal. I'm doing giveaways. I don't want to freak everybody out. I'm not saying one yet. Doing giveaways, multiple giveaways every week on the stream, straight to funded accounts worth hundreds of dollars. We gave away a few of them so far. Be giving away more of them live on these streams. You have to be on the stream to win. I drop a form. I give you guys about 10 minutes to fill it out. No purchase necessary. No retweeting or doing anything crazy. Just your info. And then I randomly pick someone on the stream. So we got a couple guys in straight to funded accounts. Hopefully they can make it to payouts. I think it'd be really cool to give some accounts away and then watch people rack up thousands of dollars. Like that would be really, really fun to watch. But yeah, be announcing that. Again, you have to be on the stream. No purchase necessary. Nothing crazy. Form drops, and everybody that's on gets a chance to fill it out. But yeah, I'm hanging with you guys, man, because I'm looking for a second setup. I'm holding a short bias on here, and it's probably not going to help me today. I'm like gun to my head. I'm still short. Really up until value area high. We retested VWAP multiple times. We're trading above it. Quick VWAP bounces would have paid today. I'm just not sold on it. There's not there's not a lot of movement and liquidity that's really selling me on this to the upside. So until we see that, but I'm not going to jump in short. This is now too much bullish structure. This was looking really nice as we came back down a second time. I think on another day, we absolutely crack lower. This is a quick win instead of not a quick loss, instead of a slow loss. But I would like to improve that trade management, the trade entry and stop loss placement. They would coincide with one another, not taking on more risk, but just entering more aggressively. Any tips for getting a payout in straight to funded with top 1 futures? Yeah, what's going on, man? These are good questions. Yeah, my thought process would be number one, just differences from like other accounts, right? Because what would be specific to straight to funded and top 1 futures? Number one, read and understand all of the rules, right? That's first and foremost. Like we're talking about, go through everything. Key pieces to getting a payout would be following the consistency rule and creating a risk management plan on the front end around that consistency rule. You can't put up more than 20% of the profit when you go to withdraw. So understand that on the front end. And then how much do you want to risk per day, knowing that you're only going to be able to put up X amount? Set that structure. Along with that, we're here on Project X. use the risk parameters tools, use the risk management tools here on Project X. They're a cheat code. And, you know, I'm starting to get like really, not harsh, but very forward speaking with guys that are struggling about using the risk management tools. You have the ability to set a personal daily loss limit and a personal daily profit target. And if you struggle with tilt, if you're struggling with consistency, and lock it out, there's no reason not to use that. You have a tool here on Project X where you set a number, and if you hit that number to the downside or upside, it locks your account out and you can't continue trading. It is so powerful to utilize that, right? Especially if you struggle with tilt or if you struggle with, you know, moving into profit and then giving it all back. It's a no-brainer. It's really a no-brainer. It's so powerful. So I think that could help. And again, this also coincides with having max loss limits and daily loss limits and consistency rules. You have to be tight with this stuff. You have to be disciplined with it. If you're not, you're going to struggle to get towards a payout, right? You know, some of this is similar in other firms like Top Step on Project X. So, you know, I trailed a little bit. The question was, you know, what about getting a payout with straight to fund and top 1 futures? But that's what I would focus on. I think the main difference would be consistency, right? That 20% consistency rule, which just requires some planning on the front end, some cautious of not to do anything crazy, you know, and run up a huge number. I killed music. What happened? I killed the music, guys. Throw that back on.
All right, so listen up. State Farm.
That's why I killed it. Why are they giving me ads on this, man? What's going on? What's going on? There we go. There we go. Yeah, so watching this market play out to the upside here. Now we got some orders to the upside on Bookmap. They're kind of coming on and off. I don't know about that. $5,700 would be the level that I'm watching to the upside here. Could see that play out pretty quickly. Looked like we had some on at the 695s that came off. We had some back and forth here on Bookmap, but I don't have a trade on this to the upside. I'm not going to take anything out of this consolidation. It would have had to been really aggressive for the way that I'm, you know, structuring these on the 1 minute. It would have to be really aggressive, really just opposite of my direction in this trade that I was holding short to the upside here off of VWAP. Just not anticipating a break lower to test at least this area to the downside. But here we go. Continuing to break to the upside. Looking bullish. 5700s, I would say in store next. Past this value area low from Friday. Headed back towards the overnight high, right? Towards this opening price. But appreciate you guys hopping on, man, hanging out with me. Again, giveaways this week. There'll be plenty of them. Don't worry. Don't sweat it. You want to check out Top 1 Futures. Links in the chat. Links pinned to the top. You want to hop in the free Discord. I run a 100% free Discord, not a VIP feeder program. More than happy to have you in there working with me. I also put out a ton of videos here on YouTube. Smash subscribe if you want to chat for next time. But I'm putting out videos on everything that I think are important. And again, I get asked about the consistency rule so many times, so that tells me I got to make a video on it. This way I can say, go and watch the video. So it probably won't be that long. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. It's very simple. You know, basic math. We don't have to do too much math as traders, but there's some math involved. Most of it's pretty basic, but we'll do some examples, right? I'll kind of do some if-then statements, like what happens if you do something crazy, you know, and I think that could be helpful. So I'll do one of those. Watching this market continue to move to the upside. Hopefully that answers the question. Markets, to be honest, market looks dead. Never mind. Yeah, like again, whoa, punching my mic. Again, this was choppy, right? This was choppy off the open. Here was our open right at 930, below VWAP. continuing to sell off. We had this movement to the upside. I didn't look at this as a move bullish, right? Obviously, I got short for a movement back down. I felt that this was going to be a choppier session, just kind of rangy, and that's how I played it. I liked this coming back down to at least the area of high volume, if not prior week value area high, and cracking overnight low before we potentially move higher. That would give me a way to structure risk to the downside. But that's not what we had. We cracked the upside on news. Almost immediately erased the entire news move, right? Because here was 10 a.m., came down below that low. Found buyers, really couldn't do it for quite a while here. 30 minutes before we finally hit VWAP again. Couldn't find continuation on this one. And obviously, buyers stepped in right off of VWAP on this push, and that's really sent us to the upside here. Trading the 5690s. Again, looking for the 5700s, but no good way to structure risk, right? I'm now, gun to my head, like I said, I was looking for this to sweep again and then come lower. I think that would be the really frustrating movement that we get out of ES a bunch of times. But no real good way to get long on this for me. Right below areas of consolidation, not a great risk structure. So we may just grind higher. Again, we start to come lower on this. I don't know that I find a short. It would probably be on some structure to the downside if we started to break to the downside again. I could see potentially a short if we started to come back through these lows. I could see a movement down to VWAP again, maybe through, but I'm going to be a little bit cautious because we found buyers here now. We've pushed off. 5700's close. Cautious of that big round psychological number. We had like decent liquidity at it, but a lot of it came on and off, so I don't know. 202 on the book. That's not bad. 202 on the book at 5700. So hang with you guys for a little while longer. I want to see how this develops up here. But as always, guys, if you've got questions about, trading stuff, top one, anything that you want to yap about, stuff on my chart, always happy to talk to you. But yeah, I'm excited to let's talk about my trading. I'm excited to get a little bit more zoomed in here with you guys for a number of reasons. Volatility's died down a little bit. I'd like to make the most out of these trading sessions, not get caught in really, really long trades. And also just not have so many no trade sessions or sessions where I have to hop off, right? Just not conducive for live trading. But along with that, I'm excited to really be forward testing a little bit larger size, more aggressive trailing stops on these trades. What I anticipate happening will be a lot of stop outs in profit for partial wins, and then some trades that do run, which would be pretty sweet. As well as, a fair amount of just the standard. We don't make it far enough into profit to trail anything. You're stopped for your full amount like we saw today. But I'm excited for that. Again, same tools, for the most part. Same things that I'm looking at. Although I've got some other stuff on the back burner. But I'm excited for that. Yeah, slow grind to the upside. 689.5. Let's see what Nasdaq's doing on the side, what the other indices are doing. Yeah, coming up pretty flat now when we just look at percent change day for the day. Getting close to that opening price. Yeah, Nasdaq just swept session high now. Just swept session high. So not as strong of a movement out of Nasdaq. YM looks actually the strongest out of all of these. It's just continued to push to the upside. Really not retesting VWAP after that 9:50 a.m. Movement. So YM looking pretty dang strong. It's in the green for today. Nasdaq a little bit weaker than ES, but Similar structure. ES just looking much stronger. Maybe because of upcoming FOMC later this week. Yeah, let's take a look at news. We got forexfactory.com is my preferred site. I'm not affiliated or partnered. You can tell I come from the Forex world in the past life. You could use Financial Juice, Market Watch, whatever you want to use. But let's take a look and see. We had the 10 a.m. that I was not really paying attention to after talking about it. We had 10 a.m. ISM Services PMI. Not much tomorrow. No red folder. 10-year bond auction can sometimes be a little bit of a mover. But as Raja is mentioning in the chat, we have 2 p.m. Wednesday. This is a massive one. The federal funds rate, FOMC statement, FOMC press conference. So we're going to have to watch for that. It's typically a fairly large market mover. Really want to be cautious trading into that. And yeah, oftentimes what we see, it is Monday, but what we see before large releases like this, like an NFP Friday, like we had last week, is consolidation the days before, or the day before specifically. And maybe the day of, right? Because the thought process is the market participants are waiting for that big high impact news to drop. Maybe price is going to start to pick a direction. We're going to go into actually price discovery where we're headed higher or lower. And ahead of that, you can kind of just get some choppy, manipulative back and forth movement where we really just don't do a lot. 8:30 unemployment claims on Thursday, and that pretty much clears us out. There's a whole lot of members, FOMC members speaking on Friday, so it's kind of a wild card, but none of that really am I going to not trade through. I'd be really cautious here. I will, not going to be YOLOing anything. 8:30 is not bad to put us through. This is really the biggest problem, pain in the ass one, which is a 10 a.m., right in the middle of the trading session. Can make for difficult structure, can make for just a wiki movement while you're trading, which is tough. But this one for sure, if you're trading into the afternoon on Wednesday, I would be extremely cautious. This is typically a massive market mover. This NFP, right? Unemployment's another big one when they come around. You really want to be cautious of those. So yeah, could be a little bit due to that, but this isn't terrible, right? This isn't like terrible market structure. If I look on the 15-minute, this is pretty clean to the upside, although it was pretty back and forth off the open. Obviously big wick up here and then coming back down to sweep below prior bar low. But then this gnarly push off of VWAP, looks like we want to head straight towards the 5,700. So, at this point, I'm probably going to hang. I could see us testing the 5,700 value area low. From there, do we just blast off, through Friday's high? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know why I'm carrying this bias that I think we're just going to chop. It's going to be a difficult day. So obviously I'm not trading it very directionally, which would help me today. But I think we could easily see the 5,700. I'd almost be surprised if we didn't go and check out that value area low, 5,700, maybe overnight high level. Do we turn this into a bullish day and really start to push for the afternoon? I'm cautious. I think maybe we chop back down around VWAP. We kind of end somewhat flat on the day. Maybe push back up into the afternoon, chop around here. But that's just speculation, right? How I would look to trade this if I was going to continue to trade it, which I just don't know that I'm going to find another setup. I didn't get good structure to find my way in on this to the upside. Didn't really get like any nice clean break and retest. Like I talked about, would have had to have been really aggressive down here off of VWAP to get a nice entry on this, where I was looking short for us to come back down in. Consolidation and then little moves to the upside gets tough, right? You kind of get this slow grind to the upside where we just continue to push highs. Conversely, if the thought is we're going to come back down through VWAP, you can start looking for cheap trades up here, but I think that can get a little bit dicey. So on that note, guys, I'm going to wrap it up right here. I appreciate... I'm not going to wrap it up yet. That's volatile. 11:06 and 25 seconds right in the middle of a daily candle. Wow. I mean, right in the middle of just a random 1-minute candle. Wow. A lot of volume, a lot of volatility. I'm sure that's a comment from someone. We could see that continue. This is the market that we're trading, right? And We haven't talked about it a lot just because we yapped about it so much when all the tariff stuff was going on. But we saw this happen on Friday as well, live, where the market just cracked to the upside. We're still in these headline markets, guys. There's still a lot of geopolitical events taking place. We have comments coming out of U.S. administration, and at any point in the market, you can see rapid movement like that. Now, how the hell do you handle it, right? You're like, thanks a lot, Zach. I already know that. You can't anticipate it, and you're probably going to be on the right side of it about half the time and be on the wrong side about half the time. I think it's more important than ever. Wow, we might actually see a reversal start out of that. Wow. What can you do to protect yourself? Structure your risk. Use a stop loss, shocker, and whatever that stop loss price is, you better accept that plus some, right? Just in the case of negative slippage. Wherever your stop loss placement is, accept that at any point in these types of markets, that can be hit in the blink of an eye. Everything can be going well, everything's right, market structure, price action, liquidity, all the tools that you're using, and then somebody says tariff or makes a comment about, whatever, Mexico or Canada, and the market just rips or dumps. So you're not going to be able to anticipate that, in my humble opinion. Maybe you could listen to Squawk or have some way to do that, but I think it's more important than ever to structure your risk, set your limits for the day. Dear good Lord, use a stop loss and accept that number on the stop loss plus some in the case of slippage and very volatile moves, right? Like, for example, what do I mean by that? For example, if I had a stop loss like right here, right on that move, and we wicked really aggressively, we just saw a shelf to the downside, you can get slipped a few points very quickly. It's not common because spreads are almost non-existent in futures, and the fills are really, really good. But in these really, really increased volatile markets, I'd be very cautious. And I would do that by structuring my risk, knowing where my stop loss is going to go, and accepting on the front end that can get hit in the blink of an eye. And if you're not going to do that, then not trading is going to be the best bet. Because if you don't do that, you're not structuring your risk, you're not accepting it, you're liable for tilt. You're gonna be ready to be frustrated and pissed off when you take an outsized loss that you're not really expecting or accepting, and it's just gonna prevent you from trading well. So, volatile move out of nowhere. Looks like it wants to continue the downside. I'm not gonna jump directly in on this because that was way too quick. We pulled right back up. I'm not going to jump right back in on this. But so anyway, I was ready to say my goodbyes. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you. I'm here live almost every damn day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, trading straight from the platforms that I trade with, showing you wins, losses. Like today, took the 1L. Give myself multiple trades with that amount of risk. Totally cool to take it. You guys want to check out Top 1 Futures, links in the chat, links everywhere. Code RDF for them and everyone else. Remember, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say or do is financial advice. I'm just an idiot here yapping on YouTube about trading for entertainment purposes only. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures and code RDF. Talk to you guys soon. See you guys tomorrow.